Hi everyone, welcome to Spec Hunter, and today we are talking about something that many Apple fans and everyday smartphone users will find exciting. In the early part of 2027, Apple is preparing to release a new budget-friendly iPhone called the iPhone 17e. What makes this phone stand out right from the start is the expected price tag of only $499. If this turns out to be true, the 17e could become one of the best value devices for people who want the full iPhone experience, but without spending the higher price that Apple usually asks for their other models. But before we get into what the new 17e might deliver, it is important to look at where the E series stands right now and how Apple has evolved this line of devices. The current model, the iPhone 16e, came out early in 2025 and represented a big shift in Apple's approach. Before this model, Apple's affordable option was the SE series. The SE models usually shared older designs and also older technology. They were cheaper, but always felt like devices a step behind. With the introduction of the 16e, Apple decided to stop that strategy. Instead, they wanted to bring a more modern design and up-to-date hardware, even in their lower-price model. The 16e came with the A18 chip, which was one of Apple's most advanced processors at the time. It had 6 CPU cores, including 2 performance cores and 4 efficiency cores, giving the phone fast speed while keeping the energy consumption low. To make the phone slightly cheaper, Apple removed 1 GPU core, so instead of 5 like the normal iPhone 16, the 16e only had 4. However, this small difference did not affect most users in real daily use. The phone was still fast and handled apps, games, and multitasking with ease. One more major feature introduced with the iPhone 16e was the new C1 chip. This chip improved wireless performance, especially for 5G signals, and also worked in partnership with the main processor to boost battery life. Apple claimed the phone could last up to 27 hours, and many users agreed that the battery performance was very strong for such a compact device. The 16e also brought features that felt premium. It had Face ID instead of the older Touch ID. It used a 48-megapixel camera that delivered sharp photos, and it finally adopted USB-C, which made it easier to charge and connect with modern accessories. In many ways, the 16 it was a strong package that did not feel like a low-end phone. Instead, it felt like a modern iPhone with hardware that most people would appreciate. But even with all these improvements, the price was a concern at launch. Apple introduced the iPhone 16e at $599, and this brought it dangerously close to the regular iPhone 16, which many people felt offered better value, since it had a second camera lens and stronger GPU performance. However, the situation quickly changed. Retailers began offering discounts, and the phone could be found at $499 in many stores. During Amazon Prime Day, the base model even dropped to $479. At that price, the iPhone 16e suddenly became one of the best deals in the entire Apple lineup. People could get strong performance, a modern design, and a reliable battery without paying the usual premium. This pricing journey is important because history is likely to repeat itself when a new iPhone 17e launches. Now we look forward to the next chapter, and that is the iPhone 17e. Apple usually follows a predictable strategy for this kind of device. To keep manufacturing costs low, the company often keeps the same external design for several generations. This means the 17e will likely carry the same body as the 16e. That design itself is based on the older iPhone 14 body, which has flat edges and a compact feel. The device is expected to keep a single camera on the back, which already makes sense for a budget model. However, Apple may upgrade the sensor. Instead of the older camera, the 17e may receive the newer 48-megapixel sensor used in the iPhone Air and standard iPhone models. With this upgrade, the phone could take sharper photos, especially in low light, while still keeping the hardware simple and less expensive to produce. Even with that improvement, users should not expect a second lens or ultra-wide camera. Apple will save those features for their higher-tier models, and that is part of how they separate the price segments. One of the biggest expected upgrades is the introduction of the N1 chip. This is Apple's new NE twerking chip, and it will bring several improvements. Instead of Wi-Fi 6E, the new phone will likely support Wi-Fi 7, which is faster, more stable, and better in crowded wireless environments like apartments, offices, and public hotspots. The N1 chip is also expected to support the latest version of Bluetooth, which could be Bluetooth 6.0, making connections more stable and more energy efficient. It also helps with running Apple's new network features such as local data transfers, low-latency wireless audio, and better long-term battery usage. Speaking of battery, even if Apple keeps the same battery size as the 16E, the combination of a more efficient chip and new networking hardware should give the 17E better real-life battery performance. Inside the phone, Apple will likely use the A19 chip. As with the previous generation, it will not be the Pro version, but still powerful enough to give smooth performance for gaming, media creation, social media, photography, and multitasking. Just like before, Apple may disable one GPU core to reduce production cost. Still, the phone should feel just as fast in daily use, and most users will never notice the missing GPU core. Apple prefers to keep these small differences in place, mainly to encourage some users to buy the higher price models. Now we come to the most interesting part, the pricing strategy. Based on everything we know, Apple has a strong reason to lower the price of the new iPhone 17e to $499 at launch. They will not be investing in new chassis design or expensive manufacturing changes. The biggest changes will be the upgraded processor, improved camera sensor, and the addition of the N1 chip, which Apple manufactures at a lower cost. Because of all this, they can easily position the 17e at a lower price that makes more sense in the lineup. Right now, the difference between the 16e and the regular iPhone 16 is only $100. For many buyers, it makes sense to pay that extra amount and get better features. Apple may want to avoid that same problem next year. And even if Apple decides not to lower the price at launch, history shows that discounting from retailers will likely bring the price down anyway within a few months. Just like the 16e dropped from $599 to as low as $479, buyers may simply need to wait for deals to get the best price. As far as the release schedule is concerned, reliable leaks suggest that the iPhone 17 lineup is planned for early 2026. This would follow the same pattern Apple used for the 16e, which arrived in the spring. If Apple repeats that, the new device could arrive in February or March. Apple likes to use the spring season to launch products that are not part of their main flagship event, and the E-Series fits perfectly into that strategy. Meanwhile, the standard iPhone 17 and higher models are expected to move forward with larger displays, higher refresh rates like promotion, and other premium features. This creates a clear separation. The regular and Pro models keep the new and exciting features, while the E-Series remains the affordable entry point for the Apple ecosystem. When we look at the complete picture, the iPhone 17e is shaping up to be a promising device. It may not have advanced camera systems or cutting-edge displays, but what it offers is strong performance, modern features, future-proof wireless technology, a better main camera, and potentially a lower launch price that makes it more appealing to a wide audience. If someone wants an iPhone that is fast, has great battery life, takes good photos, and feels modern, the 17e might be the most sensible choice. At $499, it could easily become the go-to iPhone for students, budget buyers, secondary phone users, and everyday consumers who do not need the most expensive model. So this brings us to the question. If Apple truly launches the iPhone 17e for $499, will you consider buying one? Or will you wait for the regular or Pro models? Everyone has a different need and budget, and it will be interesting to see how people respond to this device when it becomes official. Let me know in the comments below. Your thoughts and support help guide the content we bring to you on this channel. Thank you for watching. For more updates and detailed reviews like this, make sure to like and subscribe to the channel, and do not forget to press the bell icon so you always stay updated with the latest tech news and releases.